I'm still not sick of that song. I'm not. I don't hear it very often. The name is escaping me of the band, Mike Prater, JP.
About to Get Crazy is
the
Larceny.
The Larceny. That's it. Are you sick of that song yet? Our intro, Prater?
No, not at all.
I'm not, man. I like it. It still pumps me up, man. It's about to get crazy this hour. Really crazy. Maybe not as crazy as Denver sports talk radio these days, because this is a legit conversation they are having in the Mile High City. We think we're going to have it here. We have some Brett Rypien ties here. There's a lot of Bronco fans in this town for the NFL as well, as you know, Prater, and they're having a legit conversation. By the way, welcome our video audience to Idaho Sports Talk. If Russell Wilson is as banged up as we keep hearing, shoulder, now it's a hamstring, does it behoove them to give Rypien a shot? It's the worst offense in the league. It's the worst red zone offense in the league. Nathaniel Hackett, I'm sorry, that's his dad. Nathaniel Hackett, I mean, what type of decision is this? Rip or Russ, Michael Forrest Prater?
I'm afraid that Denver is going to allow Russ to make this decision because Russ is Russ and he gets to make these kinds of decisions. Sometimes you have to take the decision-making away from the inmates. And in this particular case, I think it would be really, really smart just to give him a break. I have no idea what his physical health is. I know he was in LA last week for a procedure. I know he got hurt over the weekend. I know his wrist, shoulder, hamstring, whatever. I don't care. I don't care what it is. He's beaten up. More importantly, I think he's beaten up mentally. It's been a long, crazy offseason. He had to prepare for that season opener in Seattle. That's going to drain you mentally. He got just like Hank Bachmeier in the first 20 minutes of his football season. It just really kind of sucked the season out of him.
Wow, man. Good points.
And Russell did the exact same thing, and it's hard to overcome that. I think Russell Wilson needs a mental break more than he needs a physical break. Today at practice, he wasn't there during the media portion of practice, but other people were reporting that he had a good, productive practice today. Russell Wilson, and you know this as well as anybody,
yes.
Ballgame, is unless his leg falls off, he's going to play. I think it's time for Denver to step in and say, you know what, maybe Brett Rypien's not the answer, but you just need a break, dude. You need a week-long break, and our offense is so stinking crappy right now. They wouldn't say this, but it can't get any worse. Let's let Brett Rypien play. Plus, he's playing the Jets, and he's 1-0 against the Jets.
It's the worst offense in football.
Denver statistically is the worst offense in football.
Yeah, 32nd. And they're the worst red zone offense in football, too. They literally, every team in the league has scored more points than Denver this year.
Ouch.
32nd out of 32nd. And in the red zone, their numbers are 32nd out of 32nd as well. So they're not even good when the defense gives them a boost and gives them good field position. Because you heard me yesterday, the defense is, what Spencer Danielson would like to say, is playing its tail off.
Yes, sir.
I have to disagree with you, and if you want to take a call, I'd love to. 208-424-9300. That, guys, where are you? Rip or Russ this week in Denver?
How could you justify putting Russ in this football game?
Let me first say, and this is how Russ. If Russ is healthy, as poor as he's playing, we're not having this conversation. Can you meet me in the middle there? Or are you still interested if Russ is 100% healthy, he's just playing this poorly, that you would still, I think you said, give him a break?
I think, I don't think I could answer that anything other than, of course I would play him.
Okay, yeah. So it's under these current circumstances where Russ is a walking Band-Aid right now. And yeah, he's been hurt a lot in his career. But he's been injured once, and that was last year, and he came back 3 weeks too early for that on the finger surgery, and it wasn't the same.
Yes.
And he still really kind of never recovered from that. I think Russell has to figure this out, not on a psychologist's couch, but I think he has to figure this out some way or another on the field. And if I'm Nathaniel Hackett, if I'm going to Brett Rypien, I think I have other things that are moving around in my head, and I'll get to that. Because I think the best way is through repetition. And I never thought about this, and you made a good point. Week 1 in Seattle, not getting that game, being drained. That was the best the offense looked all year.
True. Good point.
Kind of weird. Like they were moving the ball at the end of the fourth quarter, and Hackett brought the field goal team on a 4th and 5, right? They kind of never recovered from that this year. But it's just so hard for me to sit there and say, you know what? Yeah, this team right now at 2-4, Russ needs a break. Brett Rypien needs a legitimate shot. Now, is this offense better with Brett Rypien? I don't know how it could be much worse. I want to come over to the Prater side of this and say, yeah, sit Russ. You have a huge excuse here. You have 3 of them. He's beaten up all over the place physically. You don't have to go to the mental side of it because I think he's beaten up there too.
Yes.
You have the excuse, Nathaniel Hackett, to sit him. If Rypien plays well, that's where I think you're in massive trouble with this fan base. You're fired anyway. At the end of the year, you would think Nathaniel Hackett would.
The way it's going right now.
I think Russ. Yeah. I think Russ looks bad too if he sits like he's jumping off the sinking ship. Hey, not my fault. I got hurt. That type of thing. I think it's a bad PR spin for Russ, who's very cognizant about his PR. I think it's going to be Russ's decision, and Russ is going to play. We won't see Brett Rypien, and I'm totally okay with that. Russ, you're a big reason for this mess. Now, hey, get us the heck out of it. Figure it out. Run more. Do whatever you need to do to get the old Russ magic wand back waving and fix us. Brett Rypien, it cannot be the answer right now, Mike.
You're not wrong, and that's probably what's going to happen. I got 2 questions for you. One, if Russell takes a week off and just mentally checks out a little bit, which I know is almost impossible for him to do, could he potentially come back mentally and physically better? And could this football team be better? And my second question is, what is wrong with Russ on the football field? Is it mental? Is it physical? Is it injuries? Is it age? Why is Russ a bad quarterback all of a sudden? And what's wrong with taking a week break and thinking that you might be able to get better and better your football team and maybe salvage this football season? It's early enough in the football season. It's a one-time experiment with Brett Rypien. Brett Rypien, I don't care how well he plays, he's not going to take Russ Wilson's job. It's a 1-week experiment to try to give your superstar a little bit of a break. I don't care if you're a football player, an accountant, a talk show host, or whatever. Sometimes you just need to check out and have a break. Russell Wilson needs a break.
Yeah, because this is a marriage. They're not dating. Denver proposed to Russ. They put the ring on him, and they walked down the aisle and said, basically, till you're 41, we have you under contract, which is crazy. I don't think that will play out. I think at some point there's going to be a buyout, or there will be that one team that says, hey, we're so broke at quarterback, we'll take a chance to fix the broken Russ, and Denver will give you a hell of a deal on him. Anywho, yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, I think you were going to go try to make a point. Yeah, I like the marriage analogy. And in this particular case, honey, I need to go for a drive.
I need a break.
I need to go for a drive. I'll be back in a couple of hours. Mm-hmm. Where are you going? I don't know. I'm just going to go for a drive. I need a break.
My head. I got to clear my head.
That's what Russell Wilson needs this week.
Here's what's not Russ. All the bad things about Russ we're seeing in Denver, but they're like magnified, right? Because there's no good that went with it. You know how many 3-and-outs the Seahawks had with Russ? Oh, they led the league in that every year. The sacks, and the defense would keep them in it. Denver doesn't have the running game for the most of Russ's career that he had in Seattle. So there's more 3rd and longs, which have never been any quarterback's strong suit, right? Let alone Russell Wilson. And this whole identity crisis is a quarterback that I think is a legit thing with Russ, because I've seen it year by year where he runs less and he wants to get out of the pocket less, and he wants to be Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning, and he doesn't want to be Fran Tarkenton and Doug Flutie. He doesn't want to be the guy who still gets the job done, but prepares and creates the meal totally differently. Still at the end of the day wins, but it doesn't look like the statue back there that Russ, I think, imagined himself being at some point. So that's what we're seeing in Denver right now. I think somewhat of an identity crisis, and the mistakes that he's always made, he's still making them. He's making them at a greater amount right now. And Denver, and nobody's excusing this. In Seattle, we excused everything. You spilled on the carpet. That's okay. We got it. The defense will clean it up. Don't worry, Russ. We love you. Like, we spoiled him.
That's why I think the timing is right, because I think Denver fans will give Hackett a break. They're beating the crap out of him right now. Maybe give him a little bit of a break. Give Russell a little bit of a break. Everything I'm reading right now, so Russell is struggling with reading defenses and accuracy and throwing the football.
Always been a thing with reading defenses, though. I'll tell you.
But now that he's so physically and mentally tired, it's probably become worse.
Yep. I'll say this. If there was a stat that someone kept track of having an open receiver and not seeing them, I think Russell Wilson would lead the league in that stat every year. But it never seemed to matter. Now it's mattering, and we're seeing these still shots on Twitter of, look how open this guy is, Russ. Yeah. Why aren't you seeing him? He did that in Seattle too, but he was able to, however, he was able to make good, and it didn't matter as much. You know what? I'm just going to do this, JP. I'm just going to switch over. I'm not going to defend Russ anymore and say, you got us into this mess. And this is not a rub some dirt on it culture anymore. Before, that's not a stinger. I'm sorry, that's not a concussion. That's a ding. Okay, shake it off, Yahoo. No, maybe there's something deeper into this. And physically, he is hurting. Give him a break. Sit him a game. Play Rip now.
Hammies don't go away.
Oh, they're the worst, man. They're the worst. And for a quarterback who maybe he doesn't realize this, but I'll tell him anyway. You still need your mobility, Russ. You need it. For Nathaniel Hackett, think about what he's thinking, because he's human. He can't love his chances of getting to be the coach of this team next year right now.
And he's got to know that.
I mean, just what if Nathaniel Hackett does go to Rip, and maybe they don't even win, but they play well, and Rypien throws for more than, 188 yards, which is what Russ threw for last week. And then all of a sudden, Nathaniel Hackett can say, whoa, hey, maybe I'm not this dunce moron. I get a quarterback in there who can see better and run my offense. You're seeing more production. I think that's at stake. And if I'm Russell, that scares me too. That's why I'm not going to sit and put the headset on. I don't want Rypien coming in and doing better than me. He's already worried about what Geno Smith is doing. Of course he's peeking over at that. I think there's a lot of psychological stuff that goes into this, where Russ is saying, kind of like last year, we found out at the end of the year, Hank Bachmeier was playing with a torn MCL, pretty darn close.
Pretty close.
And the word was he refused to leave. He knew he didn't want Jack Sears playing. He refused. He played with the brace, fought through it, and was a tough guy. Good. Maybe Russell, not that he's going to lose his job to Rip. He won't, or I wouldn't.
He wouldn't.
I wouldn't see that, but
it might be a short term.
It can further the narrative of, dude, you suck. Denver, you're damaged goods. You ruined this whole thing. You're Yoko Ono. You've broken up the whole band here. You bring your wife and your entourage and your folks in here and everybody. We have to just give you everything, and you're not good anymore. Like, it would further that narrative for the Denver fan and those guys on Denver Sports Talk Radio to say, whoa, Brett Rypien statistically just had a better game than Russ has had in the previous 6. What's going on here, right? I mean, I don't think Russ wants that narrative, dude.
Is he so mentally weak that he's worried about Brett Rypien for 1 week and 1 game against the Jets? He's a pro. He's a Hall of Famer. He should be mentally stronger than that. He should realize that if I take this week off, I can come back mentally stronger, physically stronger. I need to take a break. Brett Rypien was not good when he beat the Jets. 19 of 31. He threw 3 interceptions in that game. He threw for 242 yards, barely 50%, and he threw 3 interceptions. It was the stinking Jets, and they got lucky to win it. So it's not like Brett Rypien's going to come out and turn on the Jets and all of a sudden be a Hall of Fame football player.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
That didn't.
So no. So Brett Rypien starts against the Jets. The Jets are good this year. The Jets eat him alive. Rypien totally stinks. He's worse than Russ has been, and that's bad this whole year. And then Bronco fan says, oh, okay, maybe it's not Russ. Nathaniel Hackett, he's the horse's ass. He's the guy. Get him. That's what they need right now. And maybe you're right. Maybe ultimately, That's good for us. Let Rip play. If he sucks, then all of a sudden they're like, okay, okay. It's not Russ that sucks. It's our coach. It's our OC. We get rid of everybody else. And
by the way, if it is Rip versus Zach Wilson, wasn't Zach Wilson recruited to Boise State to replace Rip?
Yeah. How weird is that, right?
Another in the NFL.
Did Zach Wilson take a visit to Boise State? Because if he did, I bet Rip was his host.
He was committed.
So he took a visit, you'd think. Yeah.
I don't know if I can't say if he took his official visit, but he was committed and backed out. He was committed the entire summer.
If he did, I bet Rip was his host. And they know each other a little bit, but interesting. What do you guys think? 208-424-9300 on the Cloverdale Plumbing text line. Baseball League Championship Series. What's the best possible World Series matchup for the casual fan? We go to our baseball expert, play-by-play broadcaster, Bob Beeler, former Tennessee Lookouts play-by-play broadcaster of AA. Bob Beeler, next on Prater The Ballgame.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.
Sponsored by Western States Equipment Company. Time to repair a hydraulic hose? Western States Cat features dedicated hose shops, and most hoses can be ready in 30 minutes or less. Visit Western States Cat to get a superior hose at a competitive price. In Boise, Fairview Avenue westbound, there's a crash just beyond Mitchell Street. And on the connector, traffic starts to slow as you approach the Boise Town Square. Gets slower through the merge. Westbound lanes start to slow after you get past Orchard, and that continues past Maple Grove.
This report is sponsored by Audible. This fall, find everything you love listening to on Audible. From memoirs and true crime to celebrities and sci-fi, Audible is the home of storytelling, audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com.
Need a new fence? Why is Butte Fence the place to go? We have the largest selection of fencing in the valley, so it's less likely you have to specialty order. We also have more installation crews who are ready and willing to get your job done quickly. From vinyl and wood to wrought iron and more. Call us to schedule today or come visit us on Franklin Road just west of Black Cat. Butte Fence, always going that extra yard.
I have a confession to make. I love driving a clean car, and I bet you do too. This is Mike Prater for my buddies at Metro Express Car Wash. Today, through October 21st, you can wash your vehicle for free at the newly renovated Metro Express Car Wash on 30th and State here in Boise. It's free car wash days, and if you care, please make a donation to Dress for Success, a local organization that helps low-income women prepare for the workforce. There are other Metro Express Car Wash locations in the Treasure Valley, but this is the first in Idaho to utilize solar panels that make your wash more eco-friendly and saves energy. Metro Express Car Wash is a local and veteran-owned business that has teamed with Native Solar to be the first of its kind in Idaho. Metro Express Car Wash is a company that cares, but don't worry about the most important priority. As a valued customer, you still get all the same great quality washes, including free vacuums and rockstar customer service. Today, through October 21st, free washes for your car, truck, or SUV while helping Dress for Success of the Treasure Valley. Metro Express Car Wash, 30th and State in Boise. Get your vehicle clean today. Fall is upon us, and oh baby, the leaves are changing colors. You need to do everything possible to make sure your carpets don't do the same. Mike Prater here, and Zero Res Carpet Cleaning has one mission: to make sure the carpets that you bought and fell in love with remain the same with bright, clean, original colors. The weather is beautiful around here in October, but with so many outdoor activities, your carpets take a serious beating. Get the deepest clean possible with Zero Res's revolutionary 3-part process. The ZR Lifter loosens up all things disgusting: dirt, mud, hair, pet leftovers, and nasty residues. And the ZR Wand, it rinses carpet simultaneously, meaning no flooding and quicker drying times. And finally, Zero Res doesn't use soap or harsh chemicals like those other carpet cleaners. It's safe for the little ones, pets, and the environment. And it's all documented on Google, where you can find more than 3,600 5-star reviews. If you want bright, clean carpets, schedule a cleaning today for $44 per room, 3-room minimum. Make the call right now, 208-383-1000, or book online at zeroresboise.com.
Football season is finally here, and you're going to be spending a lot of time chilling on your couch watching football. The home viewing experience has never been better, so make sure this season you're at the temperature you want to be. And my team at Advanced Heating and Cooling will not let you down. It's the only choice you need to make come your HVAC. AdvancedHeatingandCooling.com.
Call Advanced Heating and Cooling at 336 Cool.
The Ticket presents Baseball with Bob.
Now coming to the plate, designated hitter, Bob Beeler.
Swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable. I don't believe what I just saw.
Bob Beeler in studio for a second time today, Boise State play-by-play broadcaster. And let me quickly correct this. It wasn't the Tennessee Lookouts. It was the Chattanooga Lookouts. Bob Beeler did a lot of baseball play-by-play earlier in your career. What other teams in the minors did you call games for, Bob?
The Williamsport Cubs.
Okay.
Who were one of the worst minor league teams of the season. It was a short season team. And the head scout was fired at the end of the year, and deservedly so.
I love it. Bob Beeler, first off, let's talk about the league championship series, AL, NL, Philly, San Diego. Looks like this could be a 1-1 game in a few minutes. And on the AL, we start this thing tonight, and you're talking Goliath and Goliath, right? The Astros and the Yankees. All in all, my first question is the Final Four, if you will, of baseball. Is this going to be some good it's going to be something for fans to chew on, Bobby?
Yeah, it will. And I think it's sort of like if you're going to do this new expanded playoffs like the NCAA basketball tournament, you got 8 seeds and 9 seeds that have advanced on one half of the bracket that are going to make up one Final Four, being San Diego and Philadelphia, the 5 and 6 seed. And then the top 2 seeds on the other side of the bracket get in Houston and New York. Last night's game was a classic pitchers duel. 2 mistakes by Darvish for 2 home runs for Harper and for Schwarber. So the big guys came and hit the ball for the Phillies. Looked like the Phillies were going to maybe be on track for a 2-0 lead. They got out to a 4-0 start, but it's been San Diego ever since. I think tonight's game or this afternoon's game down in San Diego, extremely important for the Padres. I don't think you'd want to go back to Philadelphia down 0-2, 1-1. You're still in very good position. I think the Padres team we're seeing, guys, is the team that they expected to put on the field at the beginning of the year. A team that had good starting pitching and a team that hit the ball that you didn't see during the regular season, that you saw against the Mets, that you've seen against the Dodgers, and now, especially in Game 2, you're seeing against the Phillies here this afternoon.
The Phillies have won a World Series in 2008. They went again in 2009, had those great teams, Bob. The Padres haven't been since 98 with your boy Bruce Bochy. They also went in 84. They lost both those series.
And by the way, both series, they faced incredibly juggernaut teams.
Good point. The
Tigers in 84 and the Yankees in 98.
Good point. I mean, this series, Phillies, Padres, I would imagine that the walking money, I would imagine people want to see the Padres in the World Series. Where are you on this series? Who do you think wins the NLCS? Who's Bob Beeler have in the World Series representing the senior circuit?
I think the Padres win. I think the Padres have one more good starting pitcher than the Phillies have. I think the Padres are better defensively. And I think if I had to put money at the end of the game on the bullpen, I'm going for the Padres as well there.
Baseball with Bob. We're doing it. We're going to keep you up to date with the baseball postseason for the next couple of weeks, leading all the way to the World Series through, I believe, the first week of November. It's going to go this year.
A little later because of the lockout that they had to settle, about a week later than normal.
ALCS starts tonight in Houston, 5:30 on TBS. New York at Houston. A lot of love and a lot of hate with these two franchises. I see Justin Verlander's on the mound. I keep thinking back to that first game against the Mariners where he really struggled. What do we expect from Justin Verlander, and how do we analyze this series?
Well, I think maybe the Yankees might be the more popular team.
Yeah.
Isn't that something, Bob?
Because the Astros, core of this team is still involved in the scandalous Astros that won the series in 2017. I think tonight's game, if the Yankees hit Verlander, there's something wrong, because he was hit by the Mariners. There's, who knows if he's tired or whatever. But you're talking about a team that had to play yesterday in a rain-shortened game. You're going with a starting pitcher in Taillon that they really don't want to start against the Astros. But you started Cortez yesterday on short rest to get there. The Yankees bullpen is tired, and it's also depleted because they've had a lot of injuries this season. Tonight's game should be Houston. If it's not, look out, because the Yankees might be able to steal the series.
Bob Beeler, a special edition of Baseball with Bob as we talk about the AL and NLCS. I'll stick with the ALCS that Prater started us on. Pitching rotation advantage goes to which team in the AL?
Houston. I think Cole is good. I think Cortez is good, and then it kind of drops off. But, I mean, you saw Garcia pitch against your Mariners. He's a starting pitcher. They're not using him. I'd say the edge in the starting pitching goes to Houston.
Aaron Judge, obviously the biggest name in the sport, one of the biggest names in sports this year. And baseball's funny. Bob, you can have the greatest statistical season of all time, Ted Williams, and then go to the World Series and not be able to hit. I mean, how important – you watch a ton of Yankee games. You've seen 100 or so this year. How important is it for the Yankees' success that Judge and Stanton are kind of driving the bus?
Yeah, I think you saw that's why they beat Cleveland. This is a team very driven by the home run, probably more so than just about any team around. And I think they're going to need Stanton to hit. I think they're going to need Judge to hit. And I think I'm going to give you another name. I think Rizzo's got to hit. They need somebody from the left side to hit for the Yankees, and it's got to come from those guys. I think Houston's the better team. I don't think Houston's as good as they were. They've lost a couple of cogs in Correa and Springer over the last couple of years.
Yep.
The lineup, I don't think, is quite as good. The pitching may be a little better than it's been. Houston's the better team right now. If you asked me at the All-Star break, I would have said the Yankees were the better team. The second half of the season, with injuries and the way they played, was not kind to the Yankees. The Yankees have got here on guts, coming back to beat Cleveland. I think the Yankees are not nearly as good as Houston, but we'll see. We'll see if the Yankees can come through.
Bob Beeler, why is Bob Costas so hated?
I love him.
I know, but I didn't ask about you. I asked, why is he so hated?
I think because he goes to the next level knowledge-wise in baseball all the time, and that's probably why I love him.
But I don't people are intimidated by that?
I don't think the casual fan probably likes him as well as the hardcore fan does.
I just see a lot of criticism for Bob Costas, especially this week, because I know he's back in the booth.
Is it new, younger baseball fans, you think? They're like, who the heck is this guy? And why does he tell all these weird stories or something? I don't know. I mean,
I love him. He'd be one of the guys I'd love to have dinner with. If you were talking about 4 people that you could have dinner with, Bob Costas would be on my short list.
I think most of us feel that way. That's why I'm asking the question. Why is he? I don't get it. I don't understand it.
But people don't like Joe Buck either.
Hate him. Not me, but
no.
Text us. Why don't you like Bob Costas if Prater's talking to you as someone who doesn't like Bob Costas?
Of the 4 guys that did the last round, the LCS round, I'd take Bob Costas 7 days a week and twice on Sunday.
Bob, who you got in the World Series? I think you said the Padres in the NL. Go out on a limb here. Predict who's going to win the ALCS Game 1 tonight and pump up the World Series. Bob Beeler's World Series, which will start here in, 10, 12 days or so.
I think it's probably Houston against San Diego. Is what I think it's going to be. And I think, I have a feeling it's going to be San Diego.
Gosh,
I think it just might be their year.
I'm like anybody but Houston guy.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
Now, a lot of people want to see Dusty Baker win a championship. He's probably been the guy that's been close.
Dusty. You're right.
But of course, he was not with the Astros when they had all of their issues. I don't know. I just have a gut feeling it's going to be San Diego. I would not have said that. I thought they would lose to the Mets. So I would have, on my bracket, I had them out in the first round.
Thanks for the double duty today, Beeler.
You're welcome.
Double duty, Beeler. Love it. Not bye week, Bobby. Double duty, Beeler.
Yeah, I guess I had to make up after taking off Friday, right? I had to come in for a second segment at least once this week.
Enjoy everything, Bob. It's October, right?
Thanks.
Appreciate you, man. Let's hop on a soapbox. JP's got another update on the NLCS we'll get to. And don't forget, sign up now for the Zamzows 5-step lawn program. How about this? If you purchase or renew your lawn program before Christmas Eve, you're going to get next year's program at this year's lower price. Plus, save 10% off any plant and other lawn and garden products you buy at Zamzows for the rest of this year. Great deals going on at Zamzows. Soapbox coming up next.
This is Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame. Brought to you by RowPaint.com. Providing high-quality paint and coating solutions for commercial, residential, industrial, and concrete surfaces for over 22 years. Power in people. Pride in painting. Sports Radio, The Ticket.
At Pavement Specialties of Idaho, we are the asphalt professionals offering a great product at a fair price, serving Idaho since 2001 with a philosophy that customers and employees are our most valuable assets. Pavement Specialties is a people-driven organization with high-quality workmanship. We know relationships are key to success, and we're proud to be in the Treasure Valley. For all your asphalt services on your commercial or large private properties, call Pavement Specialties of Idaho at 208-322-7000 and see pavementspecialties.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Chest up, engage your core.
At Misty's gym, boot camp gets pretty close to the real thing. She wants to spot a personal trainer with a military background.
I can cover this week's boot camp, but we need someone stat. Is it your cousin a Marine?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At Simply Safe Home Security, your safety is the only thing that matters. So this holiday season, we're giving you 40% off any new system, because feeling secure in your home is a gift that everyone deserves. Named Best Home Security of 2022 by U.S. News & World Report, Simply Safe protects your whole home with advanced technology, powered by 24/7 professional monitoring. Visit simplysafe.com/holiday to save 40% today. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Say hi to Seiko, a long-time and frequent Grover customer. Seiko likes the fact that she can bring in a photo on her mobile phone to show problem. A Grover customer service rep will help her diagnose the issue, show her solutions, price ranges, and how to fix it. Sound like the kind of store you'd like to shop for your plumbing and electrical supplies? Welcome aboard, Grover Electric and Plumbing. We'd be proud to have you call it your store. For a Grover location near you, visit groverelectric.com.
This report is sponsored by FarmSafe 811.
FarmSafe 811 starts with you. Always call 811 and wait for any underground lines to be marked.
Always keep safety in the back of your mind. Just stay humble.
For more information, go to farmsafe811.org.
You may agree with them, or you may not. Listen and decide.
It's the 90-second soapbox with Prater and the Ballgame.
On Sports Radio 95.3 FM and 1350 AM. The Ticket.
You know, when I was giving my speech a couple of months ago to the incoming students, the largest incoming class of students at the University of Idaho in over a decade, I said, man, this campus is so much better when the football team is good and exciting. And a lot of people kind of laughed at it. They thought I was joking. It's kind of funny. Well, the football team is good and it's exciting up in Moscow. And just to speak more on this, the Little Brown Stein, yeah, that trophy they jacked from Montana after having it since 1999. Well, it's making a little tour of its own. And this is how big a deal stuff like this is. And it goes back historically in generations of family members. But they put the little brown stein on display today in the Student Union building, the ISUB Plaza, just right there, and let students walk in there and take their picture with the little brown stein. They had, I don't even know how many hundreds of pictures of students coming there saying, dude, let's do it. Let's take a picture with the little brown stein. And tonight, they're bringing the little brown stein to the Idaho Vandal Coaches Show. Jason X going to be there. You can take pictures with, I mean, people are loving this stuff. And I've never been a big of these like single game awards guys. You know, I mean, Boise State, Fresno, they have the milk jug. Like nobody even really cares about that. Does anybody want to take their picture with it? I haven't seen it. But in Idaho with the little brown stein, they do. That's how far back it goes back to first name state universities, Montana, Idaho. And the fact that Idaho's saying, you know what? It's not just our award. It's your award. Come, kids nowadays, you want to take pictures. You want to post everything. Post it. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Let's get this sucker going with the little brown stein. Idaho, well done. Get off it.
I know I like to poke fun and a little seriousness at Leon Rice and his basketball program every now and then. I know I'm a little bit hard on his program, and kudos to what he did last year, which really set me up for an off season. And then this season itself. And already I've been disappointed a little bit. Mountain West Media Days were today, and Boise State was picked third to finish in the Mountain West this year behind San Diego State and Wyoming. Two good basketball teams. And I'm not saying Boise State doesn't have a good basketball team, but San Diego State and Wyoming were the only teams to get first place votes. Then I go back and look at the preseason all-conference team, and there's 5 players across the board, and then there's a player of the year, a newcomer of the year, and a freshman of the year, and there isn't a single mention of a Boise State basketball player anywhere in this press release. I was disappointed this morning. I expected more. I expected Leon Rice to take advantage of one of the greatest seasons in Boise State basketball history and really build the excitement. And I'm not saying that it's not there, and I'm not saying he hasn't built his basketball team. Again, I'll be skeptical. I'll watch the games. We'll all figure it out, and maybe he can go on another run, and this conversation will be absolutely 100% meaningless. But today, there was no excitement. That's what media days are supposed to be for. It's not for reporters to get a free lunch. It's to create excitement in your local communities. You don't think Laramie's all fired up today? They can give a crap about the stupid Brown Stein, but they're fired up that their basketball team's getting first place votes and that they're going to go off and compete for a Mountain West championship. Leon Rice, you may not have done a great job capitalizing on your team from last year. I see some really good players on your roster on paper. Let's see how it all pans out. But I'll continue this little poke fest with Leon Rice until I see otherwise. Love you, Leon. We got to know each other a little bit better this offseason. I appreciate you and what you're doing, but I expected a little bit more, which means now I need to see a little bit more this basketball season.
Sports Radio 95.3 FM and 1350 AM, The Ticket.
As the vice principal said, I expected a little more from a varsity letterman.
I thought Prater was going to go there. It'd be one of his movie references to movies
Breakfast
he's never
Club.
seen before.
Yeah,
but I thought he might have been there because he's heard us say it so much on this show.
I used that in the text message the other day with somebody else who
really?
disappointed me, and I put that down. They never responded back because they probably had no idea what that line was.
I expected a little more from a varsity letterman. I love it, JP.
And by the way, while we're rebuttaling here, and I refrain from rebuttaling on your soapboxes, which I feel like I could do every single day. I can make $1 million rebuttaling your.
Maybe we should change the segment then.
Yeah, I think so. I'd like to rebuttal most of his soapboxes, but in this particular case, they're just so damn desperate. It's just they're so desperate. They would march out a bobblehead of John L. Smith from 57 years ago, and they would show. It's because they're desperate to fall in love with a stupid little Brown Stein that until 10 days ago you didn't even know existed.
I didn't.
And now you're propping this up as one of the greatest things to ever happen to that campus, when in fact they're just so damn desperate they'll take anything.
I will defend you, Johnny. They got to start somewhere. I mean, if the kids are excited, more power to
People
them.
were in line today.
They're excited because they're desperate
to take a picture with a Stein, dude.
They're desperate.
So desperate, but let's kick Portland State's butt, Vandals. Let's go.
Major League Baseball, National League Championship Series. San Diego pounded the Phillies for 5 runs in the 5th inning. They lead the game 7-4. Right now, it's in the bottom of the 7th as the Padres try to hang on. The Yankees and Astros getting started in the ALCS. Boise State, Prater, you hit on Leon Rice and his team. They picked to finish 3rd in the Mountain West preseason poll. It was San Diego State number 1, Wyoming 2, Boise State 3, Colorado State and New Mexico rounding out the top 5. And speaking of basketball, College of Idaho basketball team, they were picked to win the Cascade Conference in a vote of the league coaches. Yotes got all the first place votes except one because coaches couldn't vote for themselves. Yotes went to the NAIA round of 16 last year in the national
They did.
tournament.
Colby Blaine continues to build a program there that has Yote fam very proud. It's a cool fan base out there. Prater, we need to get to the Jake this year and see a Yotes hoops game.
Let's do it.
Okay. We can go have a beer and a burger at a place down the road in Caldwell. We can invite some
No, we'll
friends.
go to the Mexican food place across campus instead.
You got a place there? Okay. I don't think I've ever been there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's where we're going to go.
I actually even went to a basketball game last year.
You did? Yeah. It's a great
Yeah.
place. I think I went to a game last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago. Anywho, good stuff. JP, we got a ton of feedback finale, and it's really good stuff. So I want to give you ample time to get through this sucker. We're Prater in the ball game. You got yourself Idaho Sports Talk.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.
The connector out of downtown Boise is slow, starting right about the Boise Town Square, slow through the merge. Westbound lanes start to slow after you get past Orchard. That continues to almost 5 Mile. In Canyon County, traffic starts to slow after you get past